In the last video, I showed you a little bit about how to just lay out and work with the page content down here. But before diving into that, we really should probably clean up some of this other stuff. You know, this header doesn't look very pretty right now. This sidebar isn't very nice. So we'd like to get this kind of looking a little bit more like a website so we can kind of really start to design within that. So to do that, what we're really going to do is come down here to the Page Settings tab. And we can go do that by overlaying right here and go to Settings. And that's going to show this Configure Page, the Page Settings tab. Or, if you can't find this because some themes have this in a slightly different spot, you can always click this little gear icon next to the page you're working on. So we're going to click on this right here, the gear icon, and again, it takes and it brings up the page settings. So the first thing we can do is we can change the navigation in the page title. So maybe instead of home, I want this to say welcome. And we can enable or disable this page if we want to. Really, you don't need to worry about this unless you're doing a lower level account and you maybe have a page limit. We can choose to have either one sidebar, split sidebars where they're on both sides. You can have two sidebars on either the right or the left, or you can go full width. For the sake of demonstration, and that I don't really want a sidebar on my home page, I'm going to go to full width. And again, depending on what theme you're on, not all themes even have sidebars, so you may not even have that option right there. You can have a page description tab. Again, not hugely important with a lot of themes. Some themes will use this, especially themes like Bedford and Shift. But for 5, it actually has no visual impact. But again, this is also another spot to put in some search engine optimization information right here. We can change the URLs, so maybe I want this to say welcome instead of home. We can put a password on this page, and so say maybe there's a part of your site that is you only want available to members or clients. You can password protect it. And then last thing right here, which is going to make this page look significantly better, much quicker, is we can add a thumbnail image. And so I'm going to click to upload the thumbnail image. We're going to upload that hero shot. Still haven't compressed that guy, so it's going to take a second. But while that uploads, I'll just kind of go ahead and talk over these next few things. The last things you can do here under page settings are you can set this as the home page, so this will be the default page that someone lands on, which we will do. And you can also duplicate this page, so maybe you're making a portfolio page and you want to make something very similar with the same layout. You don't want to have to redo all the layout, but you just want to swap out images and text. This is very, very handy for that. Or if you want to maybe make a backup and try 2 different things. So that's kind of where you have there. And then under advanced, again, if you need to inject some code into your header, maybe you're doing kind of an embedded application and they say, oh, put this header code up there. You can do this, but again, this is a website without code, so hopefully you don't need to touch this. And the last thing we're going to do is just set this as our home page. And we're going to hit confirm. And now we're going to save it. And when we save it, it's going to reload the page to reflect our changes. So now our thumbnail image, as you will see in the 5 theme, is reflected right here in our kind of banner area right up here. Home has changed to welcome, and our sidebar has disappeared because we're on full width. And so now this text has literally kind of expanded to take the full width of the website. One last little trick I'm going to show you is I don't really like how this is kind of almost being cut off down here. Well, you can do this with any image throughout the site, but I can choose a focal point. So if I kind of take this focal point, if I hover over that, it tells me right down there in the bottom left that this allows me to kind of Squarespace to make better cropping decisions. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to kind of make this the focal point right here. And if you notice this image, which was now kind of almost bleeding off the bottom, as I hit save and it reloads, now you'll notice that it's kind of sitting right here in the center. I probably actually brought it up a little more than I wanted, but you get the point that you can adjust the focal point and Squarespace will crop your image appropriately. So that is just kind of how you handle the page settings tab. Wanted to do that now so that way we don't have that sidebar in the way and everything as I go forward and show you some even more cool tricks and features of the visual editor.